Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Kaylin, also known as the Sublime MUA, and today I'm bringing you a everyday look makeup tutorial with a pop of color. So first we're going to start with brows. We're going to start with a spoolie. We're going to brush them out, and then we're going to be using the Anastasia Beverly Hills brow pomade in the color chocolate to fill in my brows. So I'm going to be using a small ankle brush. I cannot remember the name of the brush, but I believe I had got it from the beauty supply store. And I just dipped it lightly in the product and applied it to my face, doing small stroke like motions, so that they won't be so harsh on my face, and it'll look more like hair, if that makes sense. And I'm just filling in underneath and working more on the tail of my brow, because the tail of my brow is lighter than the inside of my brow, so that's the main area that I want to fill in. And I like to use my spoolie throughout to help distribute the product. So as you can see, I use the spoolie to distribute it out. And when I see that it may be lighter in certain areas, I go back in with that ankle brush and some more pomade and fill in that area that I want it to be filled in more. But be careful with the pomade though, because a little bit kind of goes a long way, and you don't want your eyebrows to be super dark, super, pigmented, because most people's eyebrows aren't even that dark, so you want it to be natural looking. So once we filled in this one brow, we are going to start the other brow and do the same process. So I'm following the shape of my brow and really paying attention to the tail of my brow. And for those who don't really have much eyebrows, you can somewhat create the shape of eyebrow that you want, but just make sure that they're like soft and not really, too hard, like sharp edges or things like that. So I'm going in with my spoolie again and blending that product out to make sure that it's no harsh lines. And for me personally, I like a gradient eyebrow. Those are the most natural eyebrows. So like I said, I try to stay away from the front of my eyebrow and just focus on the tail so that they are really defined when I clean them up with my concealer. So once I filled in my brows, I'm going to go in with my Morphe JS23 concealer brush and conceal my brows. I am using LA Girl's Pro Conceal Concealer in the color Toffee. And when I do my brows, I either like to start at the front of my brow and work my way to the end, or work at the arch of my brow, do the tail, and then work my way to the middle. But it just depends on what you like to do. But I like to start at the front and then go back and clean up my arch. And because I'm doing an everyday look, the concealer that I chose is really close to my skin color, and I usually do that anyway too, because you don't want a really bright concealer on your face that stands out. You want your brows to stand out more than your concealer to stand out. The concealer is supposed to conceal and not really highlight, because that's what I'm using it for. So just make sure you're aware of the color that you choose to conceal your brows. So just like I did underneath of my eyebrow, I did the same above, small strokes so that you won't mess up. It's easier to go in small sections when cleaning up your brows, and then you can go back over it like I am now to achieve the shape that you want to get. And I'm also going to be covering my lid with this shade, because my lids do have a little bit of hyperpigmentation, so they're a little bit darker, and I just want my tone, or my skin tone, to be even around, so I get like a full coverage look. But I'm not even going to be using foundation today, so it'll be good. And I like to use my fingers to blend out that concealer around my brows because your fingers are warm and it helps the concealer just melt into your skin. And try not to wipe your eyebrow away. Just be very careful and gentle with this step. And as you can see, that eyebrow is finished, and we're going to go in and do the second brow. So I'm following the shape of my brow, and I like to go back in and make that arch really nice, crisp, and clean. And also another tip on brows, your brow isn't supposed to go past the corner of your eye. So try to make sure that your brows don't go past that, because then they look too long. You know, they're supposed to be, they're supposed to stop right before the corner of your eye. And then on top, I'm doing the same process I did underneath and making sure that the ends of the concealer on the top and the bottom meet at the end, so you can get a nice crisp edge on the end of your eyebrow. And I'm going in with my fingers again to blend out that concealer and make sure there aren't any harsh lines or anything like that. I'm pretty sure you guys can see that you can barely tell that I have on concealer, which is a good thing because you don't want it to be noticeable. Especially, like I said before, I'm not putting on any foundation. I'm just going to use concealer today. And yeah, so that's my brows. Next, I'm going to finish covering my lids with that concealer. I covered one side, but I didn't cover the other. And this is just to help my skin look balanced, more even, since I'm not using a full foundation today. And I'm just patting it in with my fingers to help it blend in and melt down. Next, we're going to be doing eyeliner. And today I'm going to be using the Absolute eyeliner pen in black. And usually when I do eyeliner, I start in the corner of my eye and draw a line at the angle that I want the eyeliner to go. And once I draw that straight line, I meet my pen at the tip of that line and pull it to the corner of the inside of my eye. And usually it works. I'm not the best eyeliner lady. So practice definitely makes perfect. And this is also another good tip with eyeliner, doing small sections at a time and being very careful and gentle too, and light-handed. So, and I don't like my eyeliner too thick. I like it like very natural, you know. So I zoomed in for you guys. And I did notice that when I did my other eye, I didn't straighten my line enough, but it's really not that noticeable. But you'll see once I finish this eye. But I'm doing the same process. I make my line in the corner at the angle that I want. Then I take the tip of the pen and meet it at the end of that line and pull it toward the center of my eye. And then once I get it like that, I fill it in. Being very careful, being very light-handed. But this is like the hardest thing for me, y'all. But I decided to give it a try today and practice more often. Make sure you fill in that corner good so it's nice and filled in. But yeah, so I got my liner on, and next is my favorite part, lashes. So I have a pair of lashes that I used previous before. I actually think I double stacked these lashes, but I'm gonna just use them for today's makeup tutorial. And for my lashes, I usually use tweezers. It just makes it easier for me. And I apply the glue, let it get tacky, so let it sit like a few seconds before I stick it on my lash line, and that allows it to stay in place without falling off your face and getting glue everywhere, which is the worst and the hardest part about putting on lashes. So I like to place my lashes in the center of my eye and then pull my corners to the corner of my eyes. So as you can see here, I'm pulling the end of the lash to the inner corner of my eye and making sure that's down, and then making sure the end of the other end of the lash is on my eye as well. And then I like to press them down into my lash line to make sure that they're secure. And if you have any glue, stuck on your eye or anything, I use the tweezers to get that glue off. And fluff them up because they are double stacked. And this is the same concealer I use for my eyes, but I'm going to be using this to highlight my face today. The color Toffee in Warm Honey LA Girl Pro Concealer. So I'm taking the color Toffee and putting it directly underneath of my eye. Not a lot, because I don't really need a lot, honestly. But I'm just putting it right under my eye on both sides. And I'm applying with my fingers, because your fingers are basically one of the best things that you can use to apply your makeup. And I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm going in with the Warm Honey right underneath of the Toffee on both sides. One is a little bit more yellow than the other, and one's a little bit more red, I guess you could say. But it makes it blends out to be more neutral. And I'm putting some on the corners or the sides of my face where my contour is, a little bit on my forehead and down my nose and on my chin. And as you guys can see, this concealer isn't really that bright. I just want something to highlight a little bit, but not super duper dramatic. Just very natural looking. But it will give me that almost like a full beat look. You'll see at the end when I'm completely finished and I spray my face. But I'm just going in with a nice fluffy brush and buffing out that concealer and making sure that it's flawless, there's no harsh lines, making sure that the concealer that I use for my eyebrows is blended out, and really pressing it into my skin and not dragging the brush, just so that it'll stay in the area that I placed it. And the brush that I am using was a little bit big, so I did use my fingers to press in that product a little bit under my eye to get it closer to that lash line, the bottom lash line, so I don't have any gaps or anything, or you can't tell that I missed the area underneath of my eye. But this is a very important step too, guys. Like, when you blend your makeup, this should be like one of the longest steps for you if you really want a nice, flawless, seamless application. And when I'm doing a full face of foundation, I like to spray my face with setting spray or like some type of mist, because it helps it just like spread easier depending on what foundation you're using. But for most foundations, it definitely helps for the product to spread easier and set faster, so then you can just go in with your setting powder and set your face the way that you like. So I do have hyperpigmentation around my mouth area. So I want to make sure that those parts of my face are concealed as well. And I will be setting that with some setting powder today. And make sure I press in the product around my nose area, because I do tend to crease around there. But pressing, guys, pressing. But as you guys can see, I don't even have on foundation, and it looks like I have on foundation. That's crazy, right? But yeah, so that's basically it. And next we're going to go in with our contour powder. My favorite contour shade is almost gone. I need to give me some more, but this is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Palette. And I'm getting that powder right on my cheekbone area. Not too far in close to your mouth, just right at that bone right there, like closer to your ear. And I'm doing nice like strokes just around my forehead, and then down on my jawline to make my jawline stand out on both sides. This is one of my favorite parts too. I love contour. It just brings your face to life. And I'm going to be using a small fluffy brush to contour my nose with the same shade that I used to contour my face. And just making sure that I create a straight line down the bone of my nose. And contouring your nose, of course, just makes your nose look a little bit slimmer and more structured. So I just line both sides up, and then I go in with my finger and just lightly press in that powder that I used, so that it won't be super duper dark, but it'll just blend perfectly with my makeup. Next, we're going to be doing my powder. We're going to be setting our face with the Maybelline Shine Free, I think it's medium setting powder. And I'm using a beauty sponge. These are my favorite sponges to use with powder, just because their shape and size makes it easier to apply the powder instead of like a beauty blender or a brush, to me personally. So I use these on me and my clients, and I like to go in with a thin layer of the product and press it into the skin before I bake, because sometimes it can allow you to have flashback if you just go in with a whole lot of powder and just press it into your face. But usually when I press it into my face with just a little bit of product and then go back in and bake, and not bake for a long period of time, I won't have flashback and my face won't be dry. My skin type is not oily, but it's not dry either, so it's somewhere in between. But I have found out that when I bake too long, my face gets super duper dry, so I try to make sure that I don't bake for too long, and I always press in my powder before I bake. And my other favorite part about baking is my nose. So I use the tip of the sponge and get a perfect line down the center of my nose. And that's the only area that I highlight for my nose with powder, just because it's the center and that's where I want the attention to be. And now I'm baking just a little bit right under my eyes. And I'm going to get the next powder by Maybelline Fit Me, 355, I believe it's coconut. And I'm taking a small fluffy brush, and I'm going to buff this powder out that I used to bake. I did let it sit for like 2 to 3 minutes before I brushed it off, but for video purposes I just went straight to it. But as you guys can see me brushing it away, it looks flawless. And you would have never known that I put powder on. But I'm getting the side of my nose where I applied that contour powder so that can be buffed out a little bit more. And I'm going to be applying that brush to the top of my lid where I put that concealer so it doesn't shine or anything like that. And that concealer will be also set for the day. I'm getting the sides of my faces where I applied that powder. And last but not least, the center of the nose. Try to make sure you don't have any powder left over, and you should be good, guys. So next I'm going in with my bottom eyeliner. I love this eyeliner, you guys. Like, it's so bomb. It's the INGLOT black eyeliner, and I'm just using this rubber tip pencil brush. I don't even know what it's called, but I'm using that to apply the liner, and it just makes it so much easier than a brush because the tip is round and I just rub it against my lash line, and it's just easier than a regular brush for me. And guys, like, a little bit of product goes a long way when you use INGLOT. Like, it's beautiful, so pigmented, really black, like jet black, beautiful, and it really makes your eyes pop when you put it on your waterline. And I love it, guys. Like, just look. And I'm gonna just put a little bit more so it's really filled in. Really pretty, guys. So I like to spray my face before I do my highlight, my mascara, and my lips. And I'm using the NYX matte finishing spray. And I'm going in with my lip pencil in a brown color. I do not remember the color, sorry guys. But it's like a reddish brown kind of tone. And today we're going to be doing a red lip. So I just line my lips. I follow the shape of my lips. I do not overline my lips. And I just fill them in slightly, kind of like ombre-ish, I guess you could say, in the corners. So I just keep the center bare. And then I'm going to go in with a red lip pencil and just fill it in as if it was the lipstick that I'm going to be using for today. So next we're going to be going in with our lipstick. Today we're using MAC's Ruby Woo, which is my favorite red, which I believe is a lot of people's favorite red. It just fits a lot of people's skin tones. And I just make sure that I apply the lipstick into the area that I had already filled in, making sure that it's nice and neat, because I feel like red lipstick is the hardest thing to get off if you get it outside of your lips, like on your skin or on your foundation or something. But I'm just following the shape of my lips and making sure that it's filled in. Next, we're going to be going in with my mascara, which is one of my other favorites, the Great Lash by Maybelline, in the color black. And I'm just going to do my bottom lashes and make sure that I do not get this mascara on my skin, because that's one of the worst things and the hardest things to clean up, other than the red lipstick, when you get it on your foundation. So make sure you're very careful and take your time to get your bottom lashes. Okay, so next we're going to be going into our highlighting palette, and we're using the Revolution Pro HD highlighting palette in this gold shimmer. I'm going to swatch it for you guys. It's super duper pretty. Poppin', period. Oh, girl, yes. So I like to use my fingers to apply my highlight, and I like to blend it into my skin so that it is seamless. And when the light hits, it's just really popping, y'all. It's really, really popping. So I apply it to both cheekbones, not so far like close to the middle of my eye, but I like to keep it like right at the top of my cheekbone. And I also, like I said before, make sure it's buffed in. Then I apply a little bit to my nose in the same area that I had applied that powder, like right in the center of my nose, and make sure I rub that in so it's no harsh lines. And I also apply some to the lip bow, I guess you could call it, just to make that lip pop a little bit more. And I also found out a little tip and trick too, guys. Highlighting your brow bone. This does wonders. It makes your eyebrows pop, whether you have eyeshadow on or not. Like, I do it for both, and you can really tell the difference. It just makes them stand out. I like for my eyebrows to, you know, have a statement. I love my lips to have a statement, especially if you're wearing a certain color. And your lashes. Your lashes got to be popping. Your lashes always got to be popping, because what's the point of having them if they're not popping? Period. But I'm going back in with that brush and just applying a little bit more of the highlight to my nose. And next, we're going to be going in with my Maybelline Lasting Fix setting spray, and we're going to saturate our face with this setting spray so nothing moves. Everything is absorbed and soaked into the skin and looks flawless, guys. So I just want to say thank you if you made it this far into this tutorial, and I hope you take the time to sit down and practice your skills so you can achieve this beautiful everyday look, guys. I had to fix my hair so I could show y'all this finished look, because it's so bomb. And if you're interested in this hair, I can also drop a link or a comment depending on what y'all want to see. But I really thank y'all for taking the time to watch this, and stay tuned for more makeup tutorials by the Sublime MUA, and catch this look up, period. See y'all next time. Thanks.